Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Push with Nick and KP. We are here to do the Raw recap, which took place last night, September 8th, 2025, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We kick off the show with the reunited Usos, as Jay and Jimmy refer to as Monday Night Raw. They come down through the crowd, double the yeet, double the Uso. But before the Usos can get out much of anything, Braun and Bronson, of course, make their way to the ring. Couldn't be a few seconds after their names were mentioned, you know how WWE does. They run down through the ramp a little bit, and they throw verbal assaults back and forth at each other with mentioning of Roman and Paul Heyman by each team. This ends with an announcement from Jimmy, who says he talked to Pierce, and at WrestlePalooza they'll have the Braun Squad, Braun and Bronson, going up against the reunited Usos. Shortly after this, LA Knight comes down to throw some hands with Braun and Bronson, some back and forth, but LA Knight and the Usos stand tall for this segment. Yeah, decent enough. Jimmy on the mic is refreshing. That's really the only big difference here, and obviously being with Jay. Jimmy, I think Jimmy's underrated on the mic. He's got this charisma to him. It's very entertaining, and then of course the Usos being back together. Um, you know, being much better, having much more exposure. I think if this is a long term thing, I think we could be for a pretty entertaining tag team once again. I have a feeling it's not quite the case. Jay still seems to have his how do I say this? He's got an ego to him now. Jimmy later in the night referring to him as, you're not acting like yourself, you're acting a bit like Roman. So yeah, I don't think we'll get a full reunion, but for now it'll be fun to see where that goes. We then get the first match of the night, which has AJ Styles going up against El Grande Americano. This simply because El Grande costs AJ his IC title match with Dom last week, and this was a very technical bout, which I'm all for, and of course we would expect from these two individuals. Things get a little more interesting when we have not one, but two El Grandes around the ring. But shortly thereafter, Dragon Lee comes down to the ring to even the odds. And a beautiful reversal game of sorts towards the end. AJ Styles does end up hitting that Styles Clash to get the win. And Dragon Lee and AJ Styles show their respect towards each other after the match. So, yeah, this is a great match in terms of where this is going. Um, yeah, I kind of hope AJ's done with it, but with that kind of partnership there with Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, perhaps we'll get a bit more of that, possibly even at Worlds Collide. I think most of these individuals here would be game to be there, so we'll wait and see. Getting into the next match, we have Lyra Valkyria going up against Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, Lyra requested this match last week after being tired of waiting on Bailey, wanting to get something, going on and getting some in-ring action here. Pierce gave her Raquel Rodriguez. This one got some time, and after some attempted distraction from Roxanne and a kick from Lyra for her troubles, we get some "This is awesome" chants from the crowd and some really unique spots. A very interesting dynamic here, of course, between these two ladies, and yeah, Raquel ends up overpowering Lyra. Some very unique spots off the ropes in the corner of the ring. And Raquel ends up landing a Tejada bomb for the win, which was a bit surprising as well. Yeah, obviously, I'm very fond of these two individuals. KP, you'll have to let me know if I'm being a bit too biased because of that. But this was a really fun match, and I thought they uh, they really did well with the time they were given. SmackDown could take some notes, giving the women some time on a weekly show. SmackDown would never. Let's go ahead and kick off the next segment, which has Milwaukee picking up right where Chicago left off, popping very loudly for AJ Lee, and AJ Lee gets a bit of time on the mic, and I forget how good she is on the mic, but yeah, she's really good here. She has that very approachable kind of like she makes you feel like if you walked up to her on the street, that she would be very friendly and down to earth, but and also kind of nerdy. And I think a lot of us relate to that. So yeah, this is a good segment here. And as she's reintroducing herself, she's of course interrupted by the man, Becky Lynch. Becky says that she's the greatest of all time. It's not just her saying that, Sports Illustrated says that as well. I love that line, the way she uses that. AJ Lee says, if you want your title back, you can come to the ring and take it, but I might give you another shiner, or you can accept a match between us being AJ Lee and CM Punk with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza. So those are kind of the options, and of course, you know, Becky not fond of either, but does want that title back. Um, then Becky introduces a real man and a proper champion, Seth Rollins. Seth comes down to the ring and kind of attempts the same. But when Seth comes in to try to take that title back, of course, as seen, AJ kind of steps in front of him, and that doesn't work. And then Punk comes in and tries to get his hands on Seth. Of course, Seth retreats. Seth and not very happy, retreats with Becky, and Seth being very upset with the situation, accepts that match. So we are going to get that match at WrestlePalooza. So that should be a good time. KP, first half of Raw, some pretty good in-ring action and some pretty decent promos as well. What'd you think of what we've seen so far?
Yeah, I think it was quite enjoyable first half of Monday Night Raw. You got like a little bit of everything here. Starting with the first slice of the Vision sandwich, being obviously the Braun and Bronson at the start with Jimmy and Jay. LA Knight getting involved as well. Yeah, there's some animosity still there between Jay and Knight. Quite clear as day, with those interactions in the ring. Knight sort of like trying to fight off Braun and Bronson with Jay, but like a little bit of mix-ups and stuff, like almost colliding with Jay himself, and then actually avoiding an attack from Bronson, which does lead to Bronson attacking Jay as a result. So yeah, there's clearly some miscommunication there, and obviously still some ill feelings between the two of them. And Knight has been very vocal. He blames Jay for not being the world champion. So yeah, there's good reason for that, I suppose, from his perspective. But yeah, that tag team match scheduled for later on in the show, the main event. Which obviously, will be the second slice of the Vision sandwich for Raw, and that seems to be the standard for Raw, for quite some time now. That they open the show, they close the show, and they've even got a little bit in the middle as well. So yeah, plenty to go with still, and this ever expanding and growing Vision story that we do seem to get. The first match of the night was good. Yeah, I really liked it. We got AJ Styles and El Grande Americano putting on a good opening matchup. With the interferences and stuff, I think they worked it quite well, because obviously you could normally just have the interference happen right at the very end, and that'd be it. But they had it come a little earlier. Styles, being aware then of the second masked individual on the outside, and basically having to sort of like work around that and to try and avoid really being, bothered by it, and to not try and focus too much on that situation. Dragon Lee comes out towards the end when the masked individual on the outside does get involved again, and it's great to see, Styles having a little bit of backup, because he has referenced before that he's got nobody in support now with him. It's one of the first times in his career where he's got absolutely no one around. He spoke about like Michin being on SmackDown and the Good Brothers no longer being in WWE at all. So yeah, he's basically just on his own. So he hasn't got anybody to look out for him. But Dragon Lee, has his own beef and his own stuff with El Grande Americano going on. So yeah, just naturally, he wants to come on in and help out and to, I guess, just try and stop El Grande from winning. And yeah, it worked out pretty well. But yeah, just a good matchup between both men. Technical offense, like you said, as well. And yeah, Styles getting the victory with the Styles Clash. Got no problems with that. I think it's a great idea. Great decision. Does this mean that Styles can go back to Dom? I don't know. I don't really know what's happening there, but I guess we'll wait and see. And to answer your question for the next match, I don't believe it was biased from your part, because I watched this one with a smile on my face, really enjoying this one-on-one match between Lyra Valkyria and Raquel Rodriguez. It was a really good contest. I think that both women were just allowed to really go for it. And like you said, they had a fair bit of time in this one, so they really got the freedom of what they can really do. Raquel Rodriguez has been really, really impressive as of recently. I think loads of people are talking about how much she has improved. Her presentation just seems to be better. Her in-ring presence is just, astronomically different to what it used to be. And I think naturally, when you put all those together, you've got a really good talent in Raquel Rodriguez. And I think it's always been in there. It's just we haven't really seen a lot of it. But against someone like Lara Valkyria, who probably, I think is safe to say, has been one of the most consistent superstars since she debuted on the main roster, you know, to have a victory over her is a great thing for Raquel. And I'm talking about Raquel like she's a rookie or something, but she's not. She's just somebody who I think, for me personally, and you'd probably agree, Nick, has been quite undervalued and not really hit the strides that we both know that she can hit. So yeah, to see her sort of in this run at the moment, just hitting, possibly a little bit of a rising trajectory towards her peak, I think it's great. I'm really enjoying it. And this match was top tier. It was class. So yeah, really good matchup between both women. Raquel getting the victory was pretty huge for her, to be fair. And yeah, as to what happens with Lyra Valkyria, obviously she's got a little bit of adversity to go through now. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But very interesting match between both women. I really enjoyed it. And then just to keep the positives rolling along here, yeah, the next segment was brilliant as well. I think AJ Lee coming down to the ring and just being her unique self in the ring. And she cuts a promo unlike anybody else in WWE at the moment. And that's not a dig at anybody, but it's more of a compliment to just the uniqueness of AJ Lee. She's got a different style to how she delivers a promo. She's very sort of very fun on the mic, if that makes sense. She's not like, obviously a lot of people would literally just they'll have their own way of doing things. Maybe they'll just be very clear, crystal, concise, get their point across, show a little bit of aggression in their voice, and they'll basically just like play to the crowd sort of thing. AJ Lee, yes, she does do those things, but she does it in her own unique way, and it's really nice to see how she does it. Just that sort of like carefree, almost free spirit attitude. Like I said, she's having fun on the mic, and you can see that. It's her first on mic, her first promo since being back, so maybe she is just really giddy about it. But no, I thought I was really captivated by what she was saying in the segment. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. But yeah, with the whole situation between Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, CM Punk all being involved here in parts, AJ Lee standing in the way of Seth in the championship, I thought was a really cool move, quite badass from her. Obviously she's not afraid to stand up to Seth, and then obviously that would bring down CM Punk to to come to her aid, I suppose, but to equal the odds, get rid of get rid of Seth Rollins. And that tag team match that's been scheduled for WrestlePalooza, yeah, bring it on. Sounds great. Think it's gonna be awesome. Looking forward to that one taking place, and looking forward to seeing AJ Lee see what she can do now that she is back. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with how things are going, and the way AJ just threw the IC title towards Becky and Seth was was quite something as well. But yeah, really good episode of Raw for our first half. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't. That is the one complaint I will give out about that promo. I don't love it when they kind of disrespect the belts like that. But obviously nitpicking there. But yeah, I think AJ Lee comes across as very real, and I think we've hit on that many times when a superstar is able to kind of mimic their real personality. I think that always benefits them tenfold. So, and one thing I do like about the current kind of split of division, if you will, is that Braun and Bronson are able to get more time on the mic and in the ring, whereas Seth can kind of do his own thing as well. Obviously, they're still united, not actually split, but I do like that. Obviously, that means more more of division, which I have no complaints with. But in terms of giving them each more time, I do like that. Um, and I'm also, music to my ear hearing you talk about Raquel the way you are, and that I'm not the only one that thinks she has made, and I would argue one of the most improved of 2025. We've seen that she does have the capabilities, but I had to do a lot of defending for her because I knew she had it in her, and just for whatever reason, it wasn't translating to main roster. And so I love to hear other people say that she is improving, and funny enough, I felt like it came shortly after. I believe it was Kevin Nash said something along the lines of, "Well, she's not wrestling like her size shows. She's not wrestling like a big, she's a big talent, so she should wrestle like one." And ever since then, it feels like that kind of turned on a switch, and now she is being more dominant and wrestling like a big talent that she is. So yeah, looking forward to seeing if those strides continue in a positive way. But yeah, kicking off the second half of Raw. Before we get to this next match, we have yet another Bailey promo where she's battling those voices in her head once again. And we know a guy maybe she could talk to about those voices in her head, might be able to help her out. But this promo, of course, ends with those voices being quieted and all of the background noise goes away. Bailey is talking just with us, and she says she knows what to do. So maybe we're getting that reveal soon. Fingers crossed. I know you and I both really looking forward to what they have planned. It feels like it's something big. So really excited to see what pans out for that. Speaking of something big, we then get a match between Penta and Rusev, kind of both trying to move on from their last bout. But before the match, earlier in the night, we get a backstage segment with these two individuals, and neither seem to be happy with their current position or placement on Raw, and suggest they should be going for gold. After some back and forth, Adam says they can settle this in the ring. Thank you, Mr. Pierce, doing the most in your hometown, home state of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And he was on it tonight. He was making matches left and right, and matches that I was excited to see. So congratulations to Mr. Pierce doing your job for once, in your hometown, I guess. But similar to the Lyra and Raquel match, this was going to be a huge clash in styles. But unfortunately, we didn't get a full bout here. The New Day, clearly not done with Penta, along with Big G, comes down to the ring, and safe to say, caused some distractions for Penta. And Rusev lands an absolutely brutal Machka kick, and Penta's really good at selling that. Usually throws some spit out for the authenticity of the move, but yeah, made Rusev look really good here. So this one didn't get the time or attention from both members that it truly deserved, and I'm not sure if this will be the last of the feud. But based on what we got here, and obviously my fondness of the two individuals, I kind of hope it's not. I'll sign up for a few more of these matches. Especially give them some time on a PLE, just like I was clamoring for Rusev and Sheamus. I would love to see that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they take that one from here. The next match has Nikki Bella going up against Asuka, and we see this set up earlier in the night. Io Sky is seen backstage with Adam Pearce. This is the one downside of the night, I would, at least in my eyes. Adam says that the contract signing that was originally supposed to take place tonight between Stephanie Vaquer and Io was no longer able to take place. I have no idea, KP. If you do know, let us know. I haven't heard anything on that yet. Why that happened, but Nikki Bella joins in and tells Io how excited she is for that match. Asuka, of course, how she's same style she's been doing, quickly interrupts and tells Nikki she can leave now. And Nikki says she doesn't have to like her, but she will respect her. Asuka, very amused, and retorts by saying that if she meets her in the ring, or she can go ahead and meet her in the ring, and she'll beat some respect out of her. I don't know how the talent keeps their keeps their straight faces, because Asuka, what she's doing right now is so entertaining, and I can't help but just smile and laugh every time she comes on screen. But so with that promo, we see this match here, and obviously it's truly a challenge to have a bad match with Asuka, and that was probably by plan, because WWE probably took note of Nikki's not so great performance with Becky Lynch. At Clash in Paris. So this, of course, is a better match. Nikki puts up a decent enough fight, but in the end is unable to overcome Asuka, and yeah, Asuka does end up getting the win with the Asuka lock. Um, After the match, we have another segment where Nikki is frustrated that she lost the match, and Asuka is quickly thereby, and some shoving ensues, and then we see Rhea appear to basically help or assist Nikki Bella, and so possibly getting back up in that picture. I know not long ago we had a potential tease between Rhea and Asuka, and I very much was all for that. So maybe we're getting that together, but maybe with a tag match this time. Regardless, I uh, every time Asuka calls Kyrie away, I just can't help but laugh. So I still don't know where that's going, but regardless, you still have my attention, and I'm entertained by it in the meantime. We then get into the main event, which, as featured earlier and as KP so nicely refers to as the Vision Sandwich. We get the latter half of that. LA Knight going up against Bronson Reed, and this is a decent enough main event with a slight variation on what we've seen, many times. But the numbers game does end up paying off per usual. Bronson Reed gets the win, and after this match, the only way the Vision knows how, they attack Knight to inflict more damage. Of course, both Jimmy and Jay, despite the latter appearing to have exited the arena earlier, come in to help Knight. And afterwards, all appears to be good. The faces are standing tall, and Jay spears Knight for his troubles. So clearly, the animosity between LA and Jay is very much still there. Yeah, decent enough main event. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing we haven't seen, like I said, quite a few times, but a little bit different things there at the end. Jimmy just really conflicted on what Jay is going through. So definitely a storyline going forward with just Jay and possibly Jay and LA Knight. KP, lots to talk about here. A few more good matches, a very wrestle heavy Raw, and those always tend to uh, get placed higher, at least in my eyes. Let us know what you thought of these three matches here, and of course, overall.
Yeah, so with the second half of Monday Night Raw and Rusev with Penta kicking things off in our second half, it was quite an interesting way to get things started because Rusev coming off a very, very entertaining, feud with Sheamus. I was wondering, what would possibly be next for him? Is he just going to go straight into something different? Is he going to somehow keep the thing with Sheamus going on still in some way? So I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, but a little bit of a backstage thing obviously led to this particular matchup. I'm not really getting vibes this is going to be a big thing going forward. It seems to be more about the New Day and Penta still. Maybe this was just like a little stepping stone just to get two guys on the roster involved in a match to keep that story going with the New Day. So that'll be my sort of idea regarding this one. But the match itself was okay. Yeah, it just wasn't very long. That's the problem. It was decent for what we saw. Don't get me wrong, the quality was there, but yeah, I think it was maybe a little short for what these two can really sort of like give out and to offer. But yeah, alas, what we saw was all right. But yeah, like I said, the New Day being the deciding factor in the end here, distracting Penta as he's on the top rope, and then ultimately, Penta does eventually get off the top, and then gets hit by that big old Mashka kick, which is an interesting way to win the match. Obviously, when you get kicked in the face from jumping from the top, it's going to have a hefty impact on you. But yeah, not sure if I've ever seen Rusev win a match in WWE with the Mashka kick. So yeah, they're fascinating for sure. Something a little different, and yeah, the New Day getting up in the face of Penta once again. They are a big thorn in his side for sure. Just before I do talk about Asuka and Nikki Bella, I really tried to have a look and see what the situation was with Stephanie Vicaire as to why she was, no longer on the show and the contract signing was cancelled. And I can't seem to find anything, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Whether it's a scheduling issue, run out of time, so they just cancelled the contract signing. Because let's be honest, the contract signing isn't really that important. But when you advertise something for a show, you probably should stick with it. So yeah, I mean, do we really need to have Asuka and Nikki Bella instead? I don't know. But I'm not trying to take opportunities away from people. But if you advertise something, you probably should stick with it. That's just my opinion. But alas, something could have gone on with Stephanie. Maybe she wasn't able to get to the arena. Maybe like a late illness or something. I don't know. But yeah, we can just theorize however we like for the time being, because apparently there's no real proof or evidence online that supports any sort of theory standing out. As for this match between Asuka and Nikki Bella, I mean, let's be fair, it was a big improvement from Nikki's match against Becky Lynch recently, wasn't it? It's chalk and cheese. Like, this match was actually good to watch. Whether that's because Asuka is literally one of the best ever, so she can carry anybody through a match, I don't know. But I didn't think Nikki looked out of place, to be fair, in this one, which was a testament to maybe she's taken a lot of criticism on the chin the past couple of weeks. And yeah, this isn't just a quick this isn't just a quick little free ride sort of thing, is it? You got to show why you're in the business and why you're on Monday Night Raw and stuff, competing against big names like Becky and Asuka. So I think she sold herself a lot better in this particular contest. So was glad to see the improvement. Kairi is such a fascinating character at the moment with Asuka, because Kairi clearly wants to sort of like have her own way of doing things, but Asuka is very much the the voice. I say in her head, but it's not really. It's the voice that just shouts at her and tells her what to do. So, yeah, that's quite fascinating dynamic as well. But yeah, I think this match was fine. It was okay, and it was better than what we've seen recently from Nikki, which is the main improvement. Asuka looks solid as ever, and yeah, Asuka getting the win, I think ultimately is the right call. And then we get the interaction with Rhea afterwards, which is what I was alluding to with sort of Kairi Sane. And yeah, it's just that sort of interesting dynamic about how they deal with people differently. I'm talking about Asuka and Kairi. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Maybe a tag team match between Rhea, Nikki, Asuka, and Kairi could be coming up very, very soon. Seems to be the way they're going down. So I guess we'll wait to see what happens there. And then the second slice of the Vision sandwich. Yes, I think this is the new thing now, right? We've had the Bronze Squad. Now we've got the Vision sandwich. So this is an ever expanding metaphor system here we've got going, and maybe we'll get some more going forward as well. But for now, LA Knight 101 with Bronson Reed. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this match. It's pretty standard. It was it was basically how you would expect, I suppose, really. LA Knight, looking good as always. Bronson Reed has been killing it recently, which I'm so happy for him because I think it was very important to get him right in the Vision, and I think they are really doing that now. They had a little bit of maybe a little bit of a patchy, rocky start, but they seem to have smoothed the ship really, really well. And yeah, it's going great for him now. He's looking just so strong every time he's in that ring. And yeah, he gets a victory over LA Knight. Yeah, sure, there's a little bit of an interaction with Braun Breaker on the ropes. Knight sort of like he gets like an Irish whip sort of thing against it. Braun's there. There's a bit of a kerfuffle. Braun goes to ringside as a result, and then ultimately that allows Bronson Reed to hit the finish, which is yeah, it's the right call. It's definitely the right call, I think. But I think ultimately in this one you have either of the two lose, and I think somebody is looking maybe not quite as good as they should be. It's a difficult position to be in, but if someone's going to have to take the loss, I think it probably should have been LA Knight. Maybe the lesser of two evils in this one, especially considering what happened afterwards. Yeah, the interaction between him and Jay. Well, we mentioned it at the start of the show. It's it's clearly still hanging about there. They're clearly not happy with one another. They're trying to fight against the Vision, but they're trying to avoid fighting themselves, and they're not really doing a great job of avoiding that as well. So Jay hitting a big spear at the end there after Jimmy came down to sort of like even the odds. He gets laid out. Jay comes down to clear the ring, and then yeah, that big spear from Jay once the little arguments are happening or whatnot. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. I'm not sure where exactly this is going. Does this mean that we're gonna have like a heel Jay? Does it mean that LA Knight's going to screw Jay and Jimmy? I don't know. Maybe he goes heel. I'm already thinking of different options here, but either way, they all hate the Vision, and they're the big heels in this. So yeah, fascinating. Not sure where it's going to go down. But in terms of this Raw, it was pretty fun. I think the first half was light years ahead of the second half. But in terms of just the general show itself, I thought it was pretty solid and pretty good, to be fair. Quite fun to watch and entertaining. As a overall, probably give it an 8 out of 10 for the fact that you've got so many good things happening on the show, and then you've got yeah, a little bit of like here and there as well, which sort of like does bring it down a tad, but nothing too crazy. I think it's not really anything glaringly bad with it. It's just yeah, some things maybe I would have liked to have had a little bit of tweak with involved, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. But yeah, decent episode of Monday Night Raw. What did you make of it overall, Nick?
Yeah, so for me, I definitely enjoyed it more, and I've just been enjoying wrestling more lately. There was a period where I felt like WWE was very much in a rut. It just feels like they're doing things a little differently, a little better, a little more entertaining, at least from me. So yeah, I think it's fair to say the first half was better than the second half, but the second half had some interesting things as well. So yeah, I can't fault that too much. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. Just really entertaining, and like I said, I'm sure I'm a little biased because I got a lot of matchups and a lot of segments from some people that I really enjoy, so that definitely doesn't ever hurt. But yeah, it feels like Raw is doing things that SmackDown could take some notes from, and I don't want to mention SmackDown too much on a Raw recap, but yeah, Raw definitely has a better formula going than SmackDown. So with that, this has been the Raw recap, and of course we'll be back shortly with that NXT recap. And of course, we have the SmackDown recap this weekend, but we also have the Worlds Collide reactions. So a few more things to look forward to throughout the week. But yeah, if you like what we're doing or disagree with anything we put out, please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But until next time, this has been The Push with Nick and KP. We'll see you soon. Take care.